Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Marketing Funnels and Strategy Show for the 19th of July, 2021. Hope all is doing fantastically. Welcome to the show, Serena.
Hey, g'day. Great to have you back finally too. We missed you.
I know I have been taking a little bit of time off, but also in preparation to make sure that I'm refreshed, to make sure I can give the most to you guys as well. And I'm excited for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're going to be discussing marketing in general. Let's join the conversation today because, let's face it, there's a lot of information out there about marketing. There's a lot of people saying a lot of things about marketing. And, if you look at probably the last month and a half, a lot of the episodes and things like that we've shared, we've determined over 8 of those last videos, if there's some missing pieces in your marketing campaigns, that's the exact reason why it isn't working for you. And we covered many different aspects of it. And if you're really serious about creating profitable and scalable marketing campaigns online, and if you're looking to use social media as one of those tools, you must follow each of those 8 steps that we shared. Let us know. If you're here live with us right now, we'd love to hear from you. Just type hello and where you're from and that type of stuff just into the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys, obviously, and just let us know where you're tuning in from. We like to sort of keep in touch with where everybody is tuning in from as well as we go through the episode. And like I said, there's so much information out there about marketing. Where the biggest thing I feel around marketing is the conversions process. I feel is the most important part of a marketing campaign, because if you haven't got a conversion process for your business, you actually won't get anything from your marketing dollars. It'll just be an expense, and that's it, right? And I'm sure a lot of you are looking to market your business to be able to acquire more sales, but not only more sales, I could imagine you would like more on the top end, more profit, that type of stuff as well. And that's what marketing is designed to do. It's designed to be able to increase that top line. And then, it's your bookkeepers, your accountants, and your own, monitoring to make sure that the profitability is coming on the back end of it too. We will actually be covering a lot of this on a webinar we're running this week, actually. Free webinar, nothing to sell on the webinar, by the way. Just purely information on the areas I feel are the most important, because like the conversions process is the most important process to any marketing campaign, no matter what it is. So you got to have a process there in place that will convert leads into more sales. If you've got that before a marketing campaign, the marketing campaign will just increase for you. If you haven't got it beforehand, it's just trial and error until you can start to really get this clicked into place as well, because part of it is qualifying, making sure people are a right fit for what you do. The other side is to make sure that you are turning each of those conversations, maximizing each one of those conversations that you're having, however you're having it, from whatever medium, whether you're on the phone, whether you're on Zoom, whether you're on a webinar, whether you're on a show like this, or whether you're on TV, or whether you're on, no matter what the marketing platform or the sales conversion process you're using, making sure that they're turning into buyers, and more importantly, making sure that they're the right type of buyers that your business is looking for. And Serena, how many times do we have these conversations with people, right, where it's like, I'm getting plenty of leads, but I'm just not converting as many as I would like, or I'm not getting as many sales as I should be getting, or I could be doing better with my conversion process. How often do we hear that?
We get that quite a lot, especially prior to even getting involved in us. And it's one of the most important things that, when people, well, businesses especially, need to understand, not even just know the process, but fully understand. I remember when I first was doing the process of getting to know our client avatar, And I just thought it was a lot of hogwash, to be honest with you. I thought, what's this bullshit? Why do we need to go through all this shit? And I see sometimes people, when they fill out the information for it, sort of think the same thing, because they don't answer the questions properly, and they don't put the right information. They don't dig deep, because sometimes they think, well, how am I supposed to know what this? How do I know what they're thinking or eating, or what time they go to sleep? And, I'm just joking a little bit there, but you know what I'm talking about, what movies they watch, what books they watch, where do they buy, what clothes do they wear, what school do their kids go to, how much money they're making. But every bit of that information, hey?
What movies do they watch?
What movies do they watch? Every bit of that information is relevant. And what people forget sometimes, business, they were their own client. And they have to maybe go back a little bit and track back to when they first started, as to what were they doing and why did they need this. And then obviously they're the perfect avatar for the start as well. Sorry, you just thought of something.
In some cases, not in all cases, obviously.
Not all cases, yeah.
Yeah, in some cases. Some cases, especially when you're talking like expert businesses, right? Where, you're selling your knowledge, your skills, that type of stuff. You, a lot of the time, have been your own client, or you've been a client of the process in some way, shape, or form. If you look outside of that, it might not be that outside of that in another type of business, like cafes, restaurants, whatever. You would have still been your own client in some way, shape, or form in some cases. But these are the different things you got to be really doing. And it's feeding the conversions, but that's just an understanding to feed the beast of marketing, to feed the conversions process. Because a lot of the time, business owners, a large syndrome, they're going to have hungry salespeople, right, that are looking to close deals, right? And if, even they're not trained correctly on converting and how to convert, on what to do and how to say things and how to, talk about the product. Pardon?
I don't know if that's you freezing up then and going a bit wobbly, or just my internet, not too sure. It's all right, keep going.
Can everyone hear us okay? If you're watching this live, just let us know if you can hear us okay, and we'll be able to determine what that is. So these are the things that you've got to be working on, right? As the business owner, you've got to be consistently monitoring your conversions process as well. Whether you're doing it, whether a salesperson is doing it, no matter what, you need to be monitoring this side of the process as well, and making sure that you or your staff are converting to the best possible that they possibly can, right? That leads are getting maximized as much as they possibly can, that follow-up is being done, that you are doing the necessary steps to be able to really start increasing your money in the bank for your business based on the amount of leads that are coming every single month. I know when I first started online and working in online businesses was for a finance brokerage, and that finance brokerage right across the whole of the business, its conversion ratios on leads was 1 in 8, right? So they convert 1 in 8 leads that come through office-wide, and 80-odd brokers in the brokerage, they convert 1 out of 8. And that was determined to be average. However, when it was looked into a little bit further, we found that there was specific people in the office that were converting at 1 in 2 or even 1 in 3 leads that came through. And when you looked into the process, you looked into what they did, and you looked into the types of leads they were getting, there was some alarming stats that came out of it as well. The 1 in 2, the 1 in 3 were doing local work. So they were determined to be the local expert, right? So they were working specifically on the local area. They were based in the local area, and they understood the local area, plus they even gave recommendations on the local area that they could get better deals on cars, right? Or any other types of equipment or anything it was that that person was looking to finance, right? Which was quite alarming when you look at it, because the rest of the office were just doing, they were more of what you would call generalists, where they were working on several different states, so working on several different territories, and, you know, they were getting vastly very different results as a result of what it was they were doing. When we also looked into it a little bit further as well, there was also a very vast difference in what people were saying, how they were saying it, energy levels, the way calls were conducted, the way people were spoken with as well, and very vast differences on sort of how things are articulated compared to everybody else as well. So when you looked at it, you know, the profitability was there with these so-called local experts or territory managers who are working on certain territories, certain areas. So how does this translate across to your business, right? This is the reason why you need to track what it is that you are doing and how you are converting your marketing and what your conversion strategy is for your marketing, because you could do, say one thing one way and say it in a similar way, slightly differently. You can get X over here and you can get XXX result over here. You can quite quickly be able to 3 times the result. And I'm sure you would all agree, you know, if X was paying you 10,000 and X was paying you 5,000, you're doing 3 times more deals here at a higher quantity of price than you were here at the lower one. I'm sure you would agree that you'd be able to grow and scale your company quite quickly if you were to really look and understand which ones are the best conversion processes, but more importantly, if you really understood what your best conversion mechanisms were for your business. Because if you can just do more of something, right, that's working incredibly well, that is incredibly profitable, it will make a huge difference to the way that your business operates as well. Because part of marketing, and this is what a lot of people don't mention, right? A lot of people talk it, but they don't mention it. And I'm sure you would agree as well, Serena, right? A lot of people, you know, focus on leads, lead generation, you know, finding high-paying clients, but they have a tendency to miss, you know, that conversion aspect of who those most profitable ones are and how it's being converted and where those highest ones are being converted from, especially with some businesses, right? Like where you work in several different states, several different territories, several different areas. Some areas can actually be more profitable than others. And this is where a lot of people seem to miss the point, right, Serena?
Yes. Sorry, I was muted. Yes, they do often miss the point on that. So, you know, it's great that you're actually bringing that up right now also.
And these are all things that we learn as well, right? Because we actively are marketing ours every day as well, Serena. So it's like, you know, we're always working out that, hey, you know, we've got a few more clients in these areas, we've got a few more clients in these areas, we've got a few more clients in these areas. Maybe we put a little bit more focus on these areas, see if we can expand them as well, right? Because it's just these little things that people can do in order to get a better result, right?
Yes. And, you know, the thing is that, like, you don't always, I'm trying to think of what that saying is, but it's, you know, don't always do what you do, especially if it's not working. Like, we're growing all the time. You know, we do something and then we see how it goes. And so then you expand on that and then you look at the different ways, not just horizontally, vertically, there's different ways of sort of, you know, growing your business. So you have to really look at what you're doing and watch how you're doing it, the outcome of what you're doing. You just think, oh, great, that's working, and then you focus and go down that tunnel funnel. You then need to say, how can I expand on this and where I can take it to? And that's what we do a lot of as well.
Exactly, because you're like with everything you do, right? You've got to be questioning the way you do things. You've got to be questioning why you do things certain ways and find ways to innovate what it is that you're currently doing, right? Because if you've always done what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten, right? So a lot of the time is we've got to be working for ways to innovate. We've got to work out ways to be able to do better. We've got to work out ways as business owners or even as ourselves, what we can do to be able to be better again as people. Because when we are leading people, we want to, we'll only ever go as fast as the lowest common denominator in the business, right? So, a lot of the time it's what can we do better as well to be able to become better human beings, right? And a lot of things I learned as well, and some things that came to life for me as well recently too personally, was I need to pay a little bit more attention to the details, right, of the way that I operate, the way that I show up, okay? Because I don't always show up as the best that I possibly could. But without awareness, right, of that, we can't determine what we must do in order to move forward, because we will, as people, as business owners, as human beings, hold up our own growth, hold up our own company's growth by not paying attention to the details and becoming better as human beings as well, right? Because it's these little things that we can do to become just that, get the edge over the next person. And, the edge is what it's about. And the edge is something that a lot of the time maybe your competition aren't quite doing, those little 1%ers to be able to do things better than what anybody else. And too many people get stuck in their own industry. They're like, oh, this is the way that we do things in our industry. This is the way we've always done things in our industry. Therefore, we'll only do what their industry does, right? Or which will be just the average of whatever it is. And to be able to get to an exponential growth perspective and to be able to do better, become better, grow faster, these types of things, we've got to do things slightly different to the norm of an industry, right? Of what your industry has always done or what you have always done, right? It can be the death of you as well by just continuing to do the same thing, right? And, I know, Serena, because we look at many different industries as well, right?
Yes. Sometimes, though, that we don't actually pick, we have a discussion around this, especially when we see an industry doing well, and then we work out ways that we can attract more in that industries, and also from, spread out across Australia, and then sometimes spreading out overseas as well, because then we find there's a need in that niche, and it's like somehow we've hit on that need, and therefore it can create the very duplication of one thing can duplicate itself in many different countries and possibly in many different ways also. So, but then sometimes you may find that there's something you're working on, but something else is happening in that niche, and therefore it can hold part of that back also. And it could be a money thing, it could be a mindset thing or something like that. So it's really working out what is the best and the most that attracts the right person for you, that's going to, one, help them big time, which also then helps build your business big time as well too.
100% agree. 100% agree. Because it's just those, a lot of the time, it's just, as I said, it's just those little things you can do better, those little 1%ers that can make a vast difference, especially when you're already running things profitably, you're already doing things really well, your business is kicking ass, you are, closing deals, you're growing, you're doing all these things. Then it gets to a point where it's just those little 1%ers, right? It's like the top 1% of athletes, right? It's just like the top 1% of athletes. The difference between all of them is just the 1%ers, right? And business is actually no different, right? It's just those little you get to a point where just those little 1%ers can make a vast difference. And it's the same in marketing. When you've got marketing that's working incredibly well, it's generating leads, it's generating your sales, just little 1%er changes. Like you could just add, this is as simple as it is sometimes, you could just add an emoji, right? Or two or three. And now all of a sudden, it's so insane, isn't it, Serena? Like you could add an emoji. You could just change an emoji to a campaign and it gets a very vast different result, right? for example, one of our clients, within the first week of July, had already generated more leads than they did the previous month. I mean, just by adding a couple of emojis. That's all it was.
But what emojis were they?
Ones that were relevant to their industry, actually. And hey,
secret.
one actually was a little person, with wavy hair. That was one of them. That was one of the emojis. Pretty insane. I couldn't believe it. And then when I looked at it, I was like, fuck, it's just amazing how this works, right? Like you can just change one little thing and it makes a very, very big difference, right? In the whole way that something's structured. Take something from, dot points and ticks, right? To just put it all together in one point with one emoji at the start of it. Couldn't believe it. It's just, I'm always surprised by marketing and what you can do to be able to get a different result. And it's just a lot of the time it's those tiny, tiny little things that just make so much more of a vast difference, right? And the key is, right, any one of you that are here live could actually do this, right? With a little bit of training, a little bit of support, definitely, with someone with a fresh set of eyes to go over it as well. And everyone actually that's here live, you guys should definitely get on our webinar this week. It's free. There's nothing to sell on the webinar. We're actually going to be talking about 3 main things, and this is part of what we're going to be speaking about in a lot more depth on the webinar. So if you want access to it, just type webinar into the comments and we'll send you across the link and everything. It's actually in the comments already. Serena's already put it in there, one step ahead. So you guys can just click the link, jump in, and you're away. Normally we only run these to our email lists. So, you guys can jump on and get access to that. That'll be exciting. What do you think, Serena? Anything further to add to what we've spoken about today?
Well, I'd like to see, like people listen to the things that we talk about and everything, but I just really don't know how much of it makes sense to their head, how much of it sort of sinks in or something like that. So, I love people to be able to discuss the things that they're dealing with that, they can be just such simple things and yet they just keep dealing with it, and ask us, like put out to us like what you are dealing with, what are you finding hard, what's not working for you, why can't you do I call it avatar, I'm not sure what you call it, the avatar system to get it to work, why don't you understand the difference in setting up a content in the ad, that how you set it out can make the difference? How do you look at things that maybe having a fresh pair of eyes look at that can make a complete difference to the outcome that can come from it? I just don't see enough of that, if that makes sense, to know how people are dealing and working it all out, because they don't, but they don't say nothing, if that makes sense.
And this is part of the curse as well in a lot of people in business, right? And I know because I went through it all too, right? Where we think that we know everything, right? We think that, I know how to do this, I don't need help, I'll work it out myself, all these types of things, right? Which is a bit of ego, right? And I've had it myself. And it's also, like being a know-it-all, right? And to know and not to do is not to know, by the way, right? Because a lot of the time we're doing things and we're just doing things automatically because we believed it was the right way of doing it, or it worked in the past, or, we have worked it out in the past, or we've done it in the past, or whatever that is, right? And then all of a sudden we find that, 2-3 months of doing the same thing, things have dried up and we're like, what the fuck? I went through that situation about 2.5 years ago now. All of the campaigns that I was running, advertisements, paid advertisements, all of a sudden stopped working, weren't generating any leads. No matter what I'd done, no matter what I tried, just dried up completely, full, overnight, stopped.
Wow.
And
it would have been a big thing.
Pardon?
It would have been a big thing.
Very big thing, because I realize as a business, we need people to speak to. And if we haven't got people to speak to as a business, what happens? you don't generate any sales, right? And I know for us, I had to do something drastic. I needed a fresh pair of eyes. I couldn't just continue doing what I'd always done because it stopped working. I had to come up with fresh ideas. And sometimes, because we're looking at our own business every single day, right, we get stuck into a tunnel vision of this is what's always worked. I don't want to change it. And all of a sudden it stops working. You got to come up with something different. A lot of the time when we've got to come up with something for ourselves, it can be a challenge. And one of the biggest killers for a business owner can be him thinking or her thinking, this is, I don't need help. I can work it out myself. Because that can be the killer. Trying to work it out yourself. You are muted, Serena.
You knew I was talking, but yeah, I've had to do it a couple of times, especially this past week, try and work it out myself. And there's, sometimes it was like, that's one of the times that, it was really hard. And what took me so long to finally work out took you fucking 5 minutes to just do it at the end. So, it's like, if you can work it, go looking for help. Find the people that know what they're talking about and ask the information. There is so many. Oh, actually, have you got our social media link? I should put that up there. There is so many Facebook groups out there and things like that are all. And I'll find the link and pop it up later as well too. That are just giving you free help. And I just don't see people using them. I don't even see people who buy like one of our most amazing programs, which is a 300 mastermind, which gives you the vault full of videos on everything that we do around marketing. And, I'm secondary to what the information that Jared knows. He's, like amazing, especially with his Facebook ads and everything. I'm sort of like the back end chick that, knows all the other stuff. And I just don't see people asking. Some, yes, but not a lot, And when you've got access to stuff like that, fucking use it. Guys, what's wrong with you? It's going to make such a difference to the things that you do in your business. That's all I'm going to say.
That's the thing. Like we actually offer so much help, even a lot of the time for free, right? Some of the questions that we answer and all that type of stuff just on this page. And most people don't even take you up on the offer, right? They don't say, "Oh, yeah, I'd love some help." Like we do strategy sessions still. Right. And, I've been thinking about for a while about phasing out the whole free sessions that we do with people to help them out. Because, like we get between sort of 10 to 15 plus people per week take up those as well, of course.
And 1 hour of solid, great business information.
Exactly right. And it's all designed based on their own specific situation, where they're at, their current revenue, their objectives they're looking to achieve the next 12 months, all that type of stuff, right? And look, I agree with what Nobby says here as well. He says, free doesn't pay the bills. That's
Hi,
very...
Nobby.
Hey, Nobby, thanks for tuning in as well. So, yeah, I totally agree with that. Free doesn't pay the bills. But we find that, 3 to 4 people out of every 10 usually want some additional help to go on and do some other things at the end of free sessions. So, we have people that go away from the free sessions, go away and implement it all themselves. And that's okay also, right? So we don't do high pressure. We don't do pushy. We don't do all these different things, right? Because we understand that we've got a reputation to uphold in the marketplace. And we want to be thought of as the person that someone can go to when they have questions. We want to be the person that someone can go to when they have a need for something, okay? Whether it be marketing, whether it be business automation, whether it be sales strategy, training sales people, right? Training qualification teams, right? All these different things as well. And, everybody's different. Some people want the help. Some people don't. Some people want to implement it themselves. Some people want someone to take care of it all for them. Some people just want to learn, right? How to do that. That's one thing in our 300 Mastermind program, like Serena said, you were saying before, right? It's like we actually give people everything that we do in that program. And most people pay, I think, for one segment in that, right, which is our webinar training. People normally are paying between $1,000 to $2,500 for that. I've seen that at other people's products that they've sold. That exact same product. That's just one tiny segment of our armory, right? And people pay between $1,000 to $2,500. That's US dollars, by the way, which is crazy. Whereas, our whole system, everything that we do, is less than $1 a day.
Yeah, I put the link up there as well that leads into, that's just the download of the free guidebook, but then you'll get an invite to the 300, because I'm not sure, I can see Nobby and Kurt on there, I'm just not sure what live feed they've come in on, so they may not see it direct into the Facebook, but it just makes me aware that there is other groups out there that are seeing this that may not be seeing what we're typing. So just realise that. But anyway, thanks for coming as well. Sorry.
Good. Well, if anybody's got any questions or anything about anything that we've spoken about on this episode, just let us know in the comments. Just comment below with your question, and we'll come back to you with some answers and some things that you can do to implement or help that you need in order to make something happen as well. So just let us know in the comments if you've got any questions. If there's some things that you'd like us to cover on next episode as well. We're always looking for new things to talk about, new subjects for the show. So just let us know in the comments anything that you would like us to cover. There's many different methodologies around what we do within the battle plan marketing method that we teach and we actually implement for our clients as well. So if there's any questions that you have or anything you'd like to discuss or any future topics you'd like us to cover, just let us know in the comments. Anything you'd like to say in closing, Serena?
No, just thanks for coming. Those that did. It's good to see a couple of new faces here today. I know who they are. Just not sure what page they came on, but that would be interesting to find out.
It would be. So thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Just remember this one thing in closing. Just remember, if you do not fight for your own freedom, absolutely nobody else will. So every single day you must get out there. Every single day you must make it happen. Every single day, remember to be the warrior, and we'll speak to you all really, really soon. Take it easy. See you on Friday's episode, 1 p.m. Perth time. Don't miss out. Speak to you then. Cheers.
Bye. Hi, Charlie. Bye.